So when was that time when you realized that you actually are really good at what you're doing?
When I was standing next to you in the podium 2007 in World Championships, I was the vice world champion, you were the world champion. And I was like, come on, I'm here with like legends. Like Ivan is right next to me, and there was like Mario Versip on the other side. He was a former, I think, triple world champion or something. And I was like between you, and I'm like, my dream has come true. And if I never ever in my life achieve anything, nobody can take this moment away from me.
Yes, I remember. That was a very, because we have this picture of the podium, that exact picture. I have it in my training room, and we were talking about it, about like a special time, and you changed my special moment, because it really is a much more special than becoming the world champion. Like, we cannot take away, world champion is a world champion, and especially when you do it twice or three times, it's not a one time hit, like you do it, right? But I always used to think that that was my high moment, becoming the world champion. And after talking to you about that moment that you're on the podium, and for me that was the same. Like you totally changed my thinking, because that was when I got second place at the world championship next to Knut Fuchs, and coming from the States, it was like, okay, we're here, right? So that's cool. Now you mentioned about Helge. What does it make? Like we know, like we've been training for a month here. I remember us being in Finland in 1 a.m. in a freezing cold winter time, out talking dogs and doing healing. I don't know if you remember this, but we were like, I do. Yeah. I mean, just that's what we do, right? But how do you decide that what do you feel when you see a dog, as you said with Helge, and it's like, okay, no, he has everything, that potential, right? And there is I think it's a package, but for you, how do you, I know it's a feeling, but what is it more?
Yeah, I think it's like when we have like a dog that you see that it's very talented in protection, it has the self-confidence, it has the poise, it has the braveness, it has the courage, the grips, the motivation, the enthusiasm to do this work. And then also that I think the one important part is for me that the dog has like self-control, that he's like balanced dog. Because I think that if we really want to reach like excellent results from competition to competition, we want to have a reliable dog. So it must have also like very, very balanced character. If it's like too
he has to see the picture correctly, not just go in one extreme, right?
Yeah, because if it's too extreme dog, too low self-control, the environmental stress can affect on the dog performance. I think that there are a lot of people, different helpers, noise, all things are like different than in your training. But if you have balanced dog, it can ignore this kind of distractions. Yeah. And often the dogs who are like extremely fast, extremely like explosive, they let the environmental stress affect themselves more. So I kind of like search more for balanced dogs, and I think it's like that's the one thing. Also that we have the connection with the dog, that we feel that, I think that's also important. But also I believe that we can build, if we are good trainers, we can build like amazing connection with different types of dogs.
And when you have how do you remember how old was he when you were like, I really think we are doing this together?
I think kind of like I had all the time the feeling since he was like a little bit all the time, like since he was 3 months old when he first time took like a hard sleeve, and he was a little puppy and he was carrying it really proud, and I was like like a king, and I'm like this is the dog what I have been wishing for. But of course like I think after of course, like the real thing. It came like true more and more all the time. I think when we had some struggles in tracking, and when we were able to solve those struggles there, it was mainly because of my own, training skills and the training what I did before for him. But when we fixed those and he did his first IGP1, I think it was very clear that this would be a dog that I can succeed. But still, until we really did this vice world champion, results.
Yes, there is a lot of questions still.
Yes, and then it was really like this really has come now true.
What about the maturity? Because where I want to go and help at least some of the people that listen to the podcast, I don't know what your take on this is, but I find that there's this really strange fine line to make the decision if that dog's going to make it or not. And sometimes we need to wait, and sometimes we are too quick to say, no, that's not a good dog.
Absolutely.
Right? And I see a lot of dogs that we just didn't recognize that they were just not ready at the moment, and we didn't give them time. Or on the other extreme, people get stuck with a dog that just cannot take them where they want to go.
Yeah. But, I think it's very interesting because like with Helge, he had like a medium food drive or not that super high. He was also a more calm dog. So he wasn't anyhow talented for food obedience. Also, my skills were not super. And so, but, I could for sure like nowadays train him better also with food. But however, he wouldn't be a dog that would look like awesome in obedience like with food. He started to bloom immediately when I changed from food to prey when he was like 1 year old. And I did then 3 steps healing and reward, 3 steps healing and reward, something like this. When he was 12 months old, he couldn't do any more. And I think this is, I think that people are too focused on how good the dog looks with food, how active the dog is, how much, energy he puts for the food. And that is not so important if you really look like...
It's just a transition stage, right?
Yes. We don't need a extremely food motivated dog to make great results. And so I think that is something, the first kind of typical mistake what people think. They are oh, that's a super dog who can do super active healing with food. And I just with all of my dogs, but Helge also need a lot of time to build his fighting spirit great, and then he made a very great progress very quickly after that.
How is it in the winter when you train? You have indoor places, right? Finland, but still kind of difficult if it's a big stretch of time where...
tracking we can't do. So it's we can... Nowadays we have more. We can go to even warm indoor places before we train in a cold horse training arenas. But we do obedience, we can do protection.
So what are the benefits of training in the kitchen, so to speak? Because we all train in the kitchen at some point, right?
Yeah, I do a lot this with puppies. I think the good thing is that there is no distraction. We just can focus on the dog and also our own improvement more. But and another benefit is sometimes dogs need break. It's not about if we think about obedience and protection, it's more about the quality of training. And it doesn't matter if you have 1 month break, if you train after that,
right,
diligently.